welcome everyone. Today we are going to start with chapter number 3 of your unit 1 and the name of the chapter is The Little Girl. The writer is Catherine Mansfield. She is from New Zealand. Alright, born in New Zealand, she died in France. She is a modernist writer and she has written this story, The Little Girl. So we'll be reading this chapter today. We'll start with this chapter today. Now in this chapter we are going to learn about a little girl. From the title of the chapter you know that we are going to learn something or read something about a little girl. Who is this little girl? Her name is Kezia. Her name is Kezia. And we are going to learn about Kezia and we'll try to find out what was there with Kezia, that is. So we are going to read about Kezia today in this chapter and then we'll see what is the problem that she is facing, what happened, and we'll understand what this story is telling us. So take out your book and be ready. Do you feel you know your parents better now than when you were much younger? Maybe when you were younger, many times your parents told you don't do this, don't do that. You didn't like it. You must have thought, why my parents are like this? Why they are always telling me not to do this, not to do that, shouting at me? You must have thought. And as you grow up, then you understand, yes, what they did, maybe it is right, what they were doing. I didn't understand it that time, but now I understand it. So has this type of thing happened to you? Perhaps you now understand the reasons for some of the actions that used to upset you earlier. As you grow up, as your intelligence grows, you tend to understand why your parents criticized you or did something which you didn't like that time, which you thought was wrong that time, but now you understand that there was a reason why they did like that. This story about a little girl whose feelings for her father change from fear to understanding will probably find an echo in every home. So this is the story about a little girl. I already told you her name is Kezia. And this little girl has a fear of her father. She is very frightened of her father. She is afraid of her father. But later she understands her father. She starts loving her father. And when you read this story you may be able to relate it with your life. Some things like this must have happened in your life. You may be able to relate. You may be able to understand, yes, even in my life this has taken place. This type of thing was there. And as such, this story will help you to understand your parents, understand the actions done by your parents, and don't be upset that why they are telling us like this or why they are doing like this. So I'll read the story and I'll keep on explaining also. So while I am reading, you look into the book, and when I am explaining, you pay attention so that you can understand nicely. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. To the little girl. Who is this little girl? Kezia. He was a figure. Who is this he? Her father. He was a figure to be feared. He was someone to be feared and avoided. She kept herself away from him. She was frightened of him. So she tried to stay away from him, avoided him. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss. Just like that, he would come and give her a kiss every morning. It had become a routine before going to work. He would come into her room and give her a kiss, to which she responded with "Goodbye, father." And when her father came and kissed her before going to work, she would say, "Goodbye, father." And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. And when her father went, and the sound of his carriage became less and less, when she knew that finally father has gone, there was a sigh of relief that she would take. Oh, he has gone. Why she was relieved? Because she was afraid of her father. She was frightened of her father. In the evening, when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. In the morning, father would go after giving her a kiss. In the evening, when he came, she would stand near the staircase and listen to the way he spoke. His voice also appeared very loud to her. Bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there and bring me my slippers. See how he's ordering as soon as he came. Bring my tea to the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come? Bring my paper, bring my slippers. And she would be standing near the staircase and listening to all this. How her father is calling out and ordering in loud voice. Kezia, mother would call to her. If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off father's boots. And then Kezia's mother would tell her, if you are a good girl, come down and take your father's boots off, remove the boots. Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs. More slowly, still across the hall, and then she would go more slowly. Her speed would become less as she crossed the hall and push open the drawing room door, and then she would enter the drawing room by opening the door. By that time, he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. He would be sitting there with his specs, and with his specs he would be looking like this at her. And the way he looked, that also terrified her. Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. See, again father is ordering. Kezia, hurry up. Take off these boots and keep them outside. Have you been a good girl today? He'd ask, have you been a good girl? Or have you been naughty? Have you been mischievous? I don't know, father. She would stammer in front of her father. And she would say, I don't know. You don't know? If you stutter like that, mother will have you to take you to the doctor. So father also imitates the way she is saying, and he says, you don't know? Stammering way. And father said, if you stutter like this, if you stammer like this while speaking, then mother will have to take you to the doctor. Why? To show him why you are stammering, why you are speaking like this. She never stuttered with other people, had quite given it up. She had this habit of stuttering, stammering, but now all that had gone. She never stuttered with anyone, but only with father. But whenever she was in front of her father, whenever she had to talk to her father, say something to her father, she stuttered. Because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. And why? Because she had fear of her father. She was frightened of her father. And because she was frightened, she was not able to speak properly to her father. What's the matter? What's the matter? What are you looking so wretched about? Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully. All this her father is saying. What's the matter? Why you are looking like this? And he would tell, mother, teach her something. She's looking as if she is so frightened of life that she is going to end her life, to commit suicide. What is this? And then he would say, Kezia, take my cup and keep it on the table. He was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. He appeared very big to this little girl. Hands and face and mouth and neck, everything so big. He appeared like a big giant. That also terrified her. And when he yawned, when he opened his mouth and when he was feeling sleepy, that time his mouth looked very big. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. So when she thought about her father, it was as if she was talking about a giant, a very large, big person. On Saturday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with father and mother. So every Saturday when father was also there at home, grandmother would tell Kezia, go down, sit in the drawing room, spend time with your parents, talk to your father and mother. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face. But whenever this little girl went to the drawing room on Saturdays in order to spend her time with her parents, talk to them, when she reached to the drawing room, she would see that no one has time to speak to her. Mother is busy reading something and father is lying on the sofa set and he is sleeping with his handkerchief on his face. His feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. His feet would be on the cushions which are kept on the sofa and he would be in deep sleep and snoring. While some people, while they sleep, they make sound that is known as snoring. So father would be sleeping like that. Alright, lying on the sofa with handkerchief on the face, his leg on the cushion and deep sleep and snoring. This would be the scene. Mother reading, father sleeping. And grandmother had sent her, Kezia, go down, spend time with your parents, talk to them. And here she is, and there is no one to talk. She sat on a stool, gravely watched him until he woke and stretched and asked the time, then looked at her. So she would sit there on the stool and she would look continuously, seriously, she would look at her father and just sit like this, looking at her father. And suddenly then what will happen? He'll wake up. His father would wake up and then he would stretch himself like this. Then he would ask the time. And when he looked at Kezia, what he would say? Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. He would say, don't stare like this, Kezia. Don't look at me like this. Don't stare at me. You look like a brown owl. So again her father had said something which she does not like. Already this little girl is afraid of her father. And whenever her father is in front of her, whenever he is there to talk to her, he is saying something or the other which the little girl does not like. One day, when she was kept indoors with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week. So because she had cold, because of that she was kept in the room, she was not allowed to go anywhere. That time her grandmother told her that next week your father's birthday is there and suggested she should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. And grandmother gave her a suggestion, told her, why don't you make a pin cushion for your father using the yellow silk cloth? This grandmother, she understands that this child is having some problem with her father. This child is afraid of her father, and because of that, now and then she is trying to bring this child closer to her father. That is why every Saturday she used to send her to the drawing room to spend some time with her father and mother, talk to them. And now also grandmother tells her, your dad's birthday is there, make a present, make a gift for him. She gives her a suggestion. Laboriously with a double cotton, the little girl stitched 3 sides. But what to fill it with? Cushion. Cushion has 4 sides and you have to fill something in it. So this girl laboriously worked hard. She did hard work and she stitched the cloth from 3 sides. The 4th side is open where she has to fill something, then only it will become a cushion. And now she was wondering what to fill. What should she fill in that cushion? That was the question. The grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps. Grandmother, she was not there. If grandmother had been there, she could have asked grandmother, tell me, what should I fill in this cushion? But grandmother was not there. She was out in the garden. So this little girl, she went into her mother's bedroom looking for scraps, small pieces of paper or cloth or something which she could get in order to fill the pin cushion which she is preparing as a gift for her father on his birthday. On the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper. Near the bed, there was a table. And on the table, she saw that there are many papers kept. So what she did? She gathered them up. She took all the papers, gathered all the papers, tore them into tiny pieces. After that, she tore all the papers and then stuffed her case. Then sewed up the 4th side and then she stuffed these stone papers into that cushion which she was preparing. 3 sides were already stitched. Only the 4th side was open. From that side she filled all the pieces of paper into it. And then she stitched the 4th side and the cushion was ready. And why she had made this cushion? Because it was her father's birthday next week and she was going to give a gift to him. So as a gift for her father, she prepared this pin cushion. So what we had seen, a little girl is there named Kezia and she is very frightened of her father. We can say she does not like her father. To her, father looks like a giant, a man with a big face, big mouth, big neck, big hands. Alright, and she is frightened of her father. And whenever he speaks, his sound, his voice is so loud. She is afraid of all this. She wants to talk. She goes to the drawing room, sits there because he is sleeping. But when he wakes up, he says, don't stare like a brown owl at me. So again, this type of comment from her father frightens her, takes her away from her father. And grandmother is there who understands all this and she tries every now and then to bring this girl Kezia closer to her father. She wants Kezia to love her father. And only because of that, she gave her this idea of preparing a pin cushion as a gift for her father. And we had seen how she prepared it. Now in the next video, we'll see what happened later. Did she give the pin cushion to her father? Was he happy with that? Did the relationship between the father and the daughter improve, become better? All that I'll tell you in the next class, in the next video, as we read further in this chapter and we move towards the end of the chapter. We'll come to know what happened to Kezia and what happened to the relationship of that girl with her father. So till then, be good and take care.